All right, guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me today on the Regenerative Ag Network. Vertical till, strip till, how can a guy utilize them moving towards this conservation soil health system? And what did 2019 do to your farm, your area, your community? For us here, 2019 whooped us in the butt. You know, we're missing a third of the corn production. We're missing 2/3 of the bean production. A lot of hay didn't get put up. That's a big impact around here. With no hay getting put up, there's a lot of beef guys that you're looking at your finished product, either feeders or finished steers, of taking in and losing 20, 40, 60 cents a pound on the weight there. So you lost money on your calves or your steers, and now you weren't able to get your hay up, and now you got to compete against horse people and dairy people. I mean, just everybody is looking for feed now, and so it's not pretty. I can see the next 4 to 5 years a lot of, not turmoil, but just a lot of changing of hands around here. The older guys just throwing their hands in the air. I can see a lot of beef cattle move in the area. I can see more dairy leaving the area, unless something happens in these markets big time to really bring it back, which the government's involved, so we know it's just going to be effed up for the next 40 years. We're already set up. The dominoes are in place for a wet spring. The ground's froze with a lot of moisture in it. Granted, the subsoil, the water's moving away, but we got just saturated soil that some of that water's froze in place. We already got a lot of snow on top. It isn't going to take much of weather next spring to have an absolutely just wet delayed spring, but it's next year. For all we know, we could have a warm, dry April, May, and just plant in and have a great thing for this area, and everybody gets their first cutting and pastures back on time, and can kind of save the herds from a delayed spring where you had to buy hay for another month kind of deal, or you ruin your pastures out of desperation. So 2019 I think hit this area pretty hard. I think there's gonna be some guys that are gonna be hurting for a few years around here. I think there's gonna be a lot of guys are going to be hurting around here for a few years, but it is what it is. So what do you think of 2019 in your area? Yeah, the beef packers and the dairy industry, them processing plants, are not helping the cause of the small farmer over here by any means. But vertical till, let's move on to a less depressing subject. Vertical till, how can a guy utilize vertical till around here? Around here, vertical till is a great weaning tool off of the shank. So instead of disc ripping them corn stalks in the fall, if it's that much corn residue, they hit it once in the fall, allows a little gray up in the spring. They hit it once or twice quick in the spring, and then they're planting. Other guys have been able to utilize it just as a knockdown on their corn stalks. In the spring, they leave them, they don't touch it in the fall. In the spring, they hit it once, not to dry the soil, but they're actually using it to lay the stalks down for some hopefully more cover on the soil, and then the stalks also don't pull the crap out of their harnesses and hoses and chains and tires. You know, them stalks really cause heck, but they're trying to create a little more cover with a vertical till, just running very very straight and just laying that stuff down. They're on the bean ground. Guys are finding around here on the bean ground just a quick pass in the spring, and then they can be out planting corn, and it grazes the soil up very quickly. Some of the guys southwest of here are finding out very fast that it didn't take very many years of the vertical till, and then they found that they were able to just wean off of that. So it weaned them off of their shank, and now there's a point that if the ground is fit enough to go out into the soybean stubble to have the VT machine do a good job where they can plant corn right behind it, they might as well just go plant corn. Because the ground is that fit, you know, for it to do a good job. There's a difference between hitting it and hitting it when it can do a good job. And so that's what they found. Other guys are putting the air seeders on it, and in the fall time they're using it for cover crop and not alfalfa, but mixed hay fields, your mixed grasses, alfalfas and mixes, and that kind of stuff. So there's some imagination, and they're using them good for fertilizer incorporation and whatnot. Around here we have to be very careful with it because it would promote erosion big time. And so if we went and vertical tilled in the fall here, you'd have to be very careful that the next spring you really set yourself up for a lot of water runoff and a lot of erosion between wind and water, and so you pick and choose your fields. But they are a great machine to get away from the shank, to wean you off the shank. But strip till, on the other hand, is its own kind of being, and so I don't say strip till is a weaning tool, because strip till is a hard tool to get away from, because it's such a fantastic tool to micromanage your macro inputs, like your nitrogen, P, K, and sulfur. It's such a fantastic tool to replace a conventional till program with. You could still run a strip till machine with that shank to replace your shank tillage, but now you're also, at the same time, you're applying your fertilizer and you're doing your finishing pass. So there is huge savings by doing a strip till system versus a conventional till system. But at planting time, you're still planting into that same worked up soil, except now you got potential of nutrient banding underneath, and that's the big kicker to strip till. Compared to conventional broadcast fertilizer, banding under the row, you don't even have to trust nobody, is that you could easily eliminate 30% of your fertilizer inputs right there, just based off of basic math. If a corn plant is 10 inches wide, its root ball is 10 inches wide, and you had 2 of them, that means you got 5 inches on each one between 30-inch rows, so you got 20 inches in there. That we're really not utilizing to the best of our abilities. So we don't want to just say, well, we can eliminate 2/3. Let's throw some caution and be like, well, you could eliminate 1/3 of what you're applying on broadcast to banding and get the same results or better. And you're not going to be depleting your soil, because everybody says, well, my co-op says I need 200 pounds of 923/30 to grow my 150 bushel corn. But just because you put 100 pounds in strip till, that's not starving your plant. It's just the fact that all 100 pounds are right underneath the plant, and it's going to take as much of that for the year as it can. It's not going to use all of it. All of it isn't going to convert. All of it isn't going to get soaked up. It's not that perfect of a system. But banding under that machine greatly reduces your tillage and equipment costs, and greatly lose. What would you do if you had 30% more nitrogen dollars and P and K dollars? If you had $150 fertility program for your crop, for your corn, a buck a bushel on fertility, and now you're at 70 cents per bushel on fertility. That's big money. That's big money. So that's where strip till is fantastic. And the other part that I noticed on here is on strip till is it didn't take the great spots and make them better. Like looking at yield history maps of conventional till, no-till, strip till. Conventional till, no-till, very similar. Strip till just kind of shrunk all them spots down. And it took them really poor areas and just was really, it's bringing them to life. And so strip till is just a fantastic tool. You're slowed down again compared to no-till, but compared to like a vertical till machine, strip till you're slower. You're trying to match your planter, but there are fast strip tillers. We got some local guys that are just using strip finishers on some aspects for their strip till, depending on the field and the history and what their goals are. If it's a good fertility field, all they want to do is run through and make some strips to get through the trash so their planter can do a better job. Then they're strip tilling with no fertilizer behind them. They're strip tilling, 7, 8, 10 miles an hour on their whatever they're putting. If it's a 30-foot pass for a 12-row planter or 40 for a 16-row planter, I mean, you're getting a lot of acres done in an afternoon with that type of strip till machine. And so I can see many farmers going from conventional till to strip till and never going past that, just because strip till works so fantastic. You want to go into planting into green, you're a little leery about it, and maybe some other issues, where strip till kind of just is that buffer zone. It just makes that beautiful seed bed. And so we're going to keep working on it here. I'm going to try and keep bringing in some more test plots of the financials of strip till, and maybe I'm going to rely on strip till for some of my planting green. I haven't quite had the confidence to just, you know, just dive both feet in. Well, I did, but you know, kind of worked. But I can see the benefits of strip till. I'm not brave enough to get away from it yet. I'm not. And I've talked to other strip tillers too, and they say the same thing. Like, why would I change it? It was such a huge step, and so with strip till, it's so easy to bring in the cover crops as well. The cover crops work phenomenal with strip till because you have the benefit of the no-till soil health in between your rows. And the other thing is with strip till in our soil here, it gives the water a channel to get in, and it really reduces the amount of runoff of the farm. And so strip till with covers, I think is a fantastic combination. Like I said, as we keep having more of a living mulch going for strip till, I think strip till is going to help us utilize that living mulch and really get rid of a lot of herbicide application, because it's going to allow us to plant green a lot better and be more competitive with the reduced herbicides. But yeah, and so guys, we'll leave it right there. Again, how badly did your area get its butt kicked in 2019? If you've got a VT machine, strip machine, leave below how you're utilizing them, how they work for you, what do you like, what do you don't like, and let's keep the conversation going below, guys. Thank you very much.